Hello friends, welcome to Kavita's classroom. Today's topic is going to be very interesting. Have you ever thought of why do we call perfect market a perfect and ideal market? Because it gives you the maximum quantity produced at the minimum possible price. So why do we say the markets are imperfect? Because there are certain deviations from this perfect nature of the market which make them imperfect. And you must note that as and when the markets become imperfect, there is a high in the social cost for them and their benefits and surpluses keep on falling. Let's explain the same and let's have a new concept with us today, and that's called the dead weight loss. So, what do we mean by the term dead weight loss? Let's explore first what happens in the perfect market and why it is the most efficient form of market to understand what do we mean by the term dead weight loss. So, this is a perfect market situation where downward falling demand curve and supply curve intersect and find the price, determine the price and quantity to prevail in the market. Right. We know that this area above the price and below the demand curve, this is called consumer surplus. Why do we call it a consumer surplus? Because consumers in this market form are willing to pay the price as high as this, but the market determines the price at P. So there is a gap of what they can pay and what they are actually paying. So that gap, that benefit to the consumers is called consumer surplus. On a very similar note, this area below the price and above the supply is called producer surplus. Right? So this is producer surplus. So when we talk about producer surplus, exactly the same concept. Producers are willing to make the quantity up to this price, this price, this price, but actually the market price determined by the market is this. So they are able to get bit higher price than what they expected to get. So that's called producer surplus. And this is a market form. The perfect market form gives you the maximum possible quantity which can be produced in a market and the price which suits the best to the consumers as well as to the producers. Right. But what happens if there is some deviation? Let us say there is a deviation and the quantity produced in this market is not this which is decided by the demand and supply forces. What happens? Maybe there is some sort of government intervention and the quantity produced is Q dash instead of Q. So what happens? Here we are clearly able to see that the price determined by the market is P. This whole total triangle above P connotes consumer surplus and below this connotes the producer surplus. But now that the quantity produced in the market is only Q dash, so this much benefit which could have been reaped by the society in terms of consumer and producer surplus is yet untapped. So this triangle, which is not reaped by any, neither the consumer nor the producer, is called dead weight loss. You must understand this situation arises as and when there is some sort of intervention in the market. And what sort of interventions do happen? Like there are price ceiling, price floor, some taxations by the government and monopoly market and other imperfect forms of market. So we'll discuss in the following videos what happens and how much is the dead weight loss in that case. The only thing you should keep in mind is there is no dead weight loss when it comes to the perfect market. But when there are interventions and deviations from the perfect market, then it leads to the dead weight loss situation. I hope the concept is clear to you and do connect for any sort of difficulties and queries. Following videos will give you the cases of other dead weight loss situations. Till then, see you. Bye-bye.